Hello and welcome to the Room of Truth. I am Queen Doro, and today I'm going to be telling you one of my personal spiritual experiences. And this is a true story, and it shows you how much spirit will try to get through to you, and that sometimes even we get it wrong. So I have to go back 15 years. And basically, I have been used to doing readings for everyone I know. Everybody that knew me knew that I would do this, and it's a bit of a quirk. It's a bit of, oh, she's a bit eccentric, she's a bit woo-woo, take her with a pinch of salt. And those that knew me knew that I would say strange things, sometimes see strange things, and I learnt over the years to not say anything unless they actually asked me a particular question or if they wanted me to say something, because ultimately things are happening all the time. On this one particular occasion, I had been getting some very, very unusual messages. And for example, the television came on one day by itself. I was in another room and I went over to hear it, and it was on MTV. I don't watch MTV. I have never watched it. I don't even know if it's still going, but it came on and there was this group singing, and they were singing the song Mama, and I'm like, okay, fine, interesting. Switched it off, went back into the kitchen and never thought anything of it. The next thing that happened was a day or so later. I was out in the car and I was just popping to the local shops. Literally, it was a 10-minute drive. And I got in the car and I was at a place where I could turn left to go to one direction, or I could turn right to go to the shops. And my complete intention was to go to the shops. However, I found myself being drawn to turn left. And I drove for 3 hours. I don't know, I did not know why, but I just felt compelled. I just thought, okay, I'm going to follow the energy. You are taking me somewhere and this will be interesting. So I ended up in this place. And I phoned my mother and I said, this is really, really unusual. And she said, why? I said, well, I was on my way to the shops and now 5 hours later, I'm in this completely unusual small village and I don't know why I'm here. And she said to me, wow, that's where I was born. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm here. Do you want me to, do you know anyone here? Do you have any relatives you'd like me to visit? And she said, oh, no. They're all long gone. And so I thought, oh, okay, interesting. And I got back into the car and I drove home. I didn't even have a cup of tea. I just thought, oh, that's a bit weird. So it was coming up to Mother's Day. And so I'm like thinking, oh, okay, interesting. I'll pop in and I'll pick up my children, who were very small at that time, and we'll go and do a surprise visit. It was another, oh, go and pick up the children, make this trip, go and see her. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go and see her. So went up to see her and we had a wonderful time, laughing. We were crying with laughter. We all had a wonderful time. We were talking about things that were interesting, things that were, a family visit. And it wasn't Mother's Day, but I thought that all this was related to Mother's Day. So I said to her, as we were leaving, you're looking a little bit tired, so I'm not going to come up next weekend, which is Mother's Day, but, I'll be thinking of you and I'll call you, and then the weekend after that we'll come up again and we'll spend some more time with each other. And she said, oh, that's wonderful, but she looked tired. Anyway, went home, and that evening I started hearing banging like this in the kitchen. So I went downstairs and some of the cupboards are open and some of the cupboards are closed, and I'm like, odd, how very odd. So I closed all the cupboards that were open, went back upstairs to bed and got back into bed, and then I'm hearing go downstairs, some of the cupboards are open, some of the cupboards are closed. So I'm like, stop it. Go back upstairs to bed. And they start again, and this time I'm cross. I'm up and down these stairs like a yo-yo. So I just get to the top of the stairs and I shout, stop it. I know you're trying to get my attention. I can hear you, but stop. And they stopped. Okay, good. Not lost my mojo. I'm still in charge. I'm still in control. About 4 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from my mother, and I'm like, oh. I pick up the phone, and it's a missed call. And I think, oh, well, it's a bit late to call her, so I'll leave it. And the next day I said to her, oh, did you call me? And she said, no. I wouldn't call you at 4 o'clock in the morning. Why would I do that? And I said, well, I've got a missed call from you. Is everything okay? And she said, yes, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And so I'm getting all these signals. Mama, I've gone to this village where it's connected to my mother, and all these like a mother, and it's coming up to Mothering Sunday. And so I call all my friends one by one, and I said, listen, it's coming up to, I'm getting goose pimples now, it's coming up to Mothering Sunday. I have got some news for somebody, but I don't know who it's related to, but it's related to Mother and Mothering Sunday. And I want you all, if you have the opportunity, to go and spend time with your mothers and validate them, verify them, tell them how much you love them and how much they mean to you. And everyone was like, well, is there something I need to know? And I said, no, don't worry about it. All I want is for you to spend Mothering Sunday with your mothers, and it's all about a message of love. Because I would not tell anybody ever bad news like this. You just don't. It's another unspoken, unwritten law, a code of ethics and integrity that you don't tell somebody when they're due to pass or things like that. You can tell them in a positive way that, they might need to spend some time with someone, and are you telling people you love them, stuff like that, little things. But you don't actually say, this is the day and this is the time and this is what's happening. So everybody's going off to their parents, and I'm very, very happy. I know that all my friends are now having a wonderful time with their mothers on Mothering Sunday, or they have plans, they're going to drive up. 6 o'clock on Mothering Sunday, I get a call and it says it's my mother calling, and I'm like, oh, 6 o'clock, but it's ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. And so I pick it up, and all I can hear on the other end of the phone is somebody choking with tears. And of course, because the call has come from my mother, I said, what is it? Is everything all right, Mum? Is everything all right? Is it Dad? What's the matter with Dad? And my mother had passed about 10 minutes before, and it was my mother calling me. I mean, my mother, from my mother's phone, calling me on Mothering Sunday. And what that taught me is that all the messages that we get, they're not always for other people. But I was so used to giving messages to people that I never once thought that all those signs were for me. As it turned out, I went up a couple of hours later, and I was there for Mothering Sunday, and it was very challenging. Very, very challenging indeed. So Spirit will try and connect with you and tell you very important things. They will try and come through, but sometimes even we don't see it. There was, for the first time in my life, a very, very important message for me, and I completely picked all the messages up, got 2 and 2 and came up with the answer 5. Never in a million years did I believe that Spirit, who were trying so very hard to come through, would actually have a message for me with regard to my mother. As it turned out that the band on television were Il Divo, and they were singing Mama, and Il Divo was my mother's favourite group of young men, and that was her favourite song. And being in her town of birth, I should have known, and banging the cupboards, don't know what that was. They were probably getting incredibly frustrated with me. The good news is all my friends were very, very relieved that the message wasn't for them on Monday, and they all had a wonderful time with Mothering Sunday. So whenever it's Mothering Sunday, it's a very, very special day for me, and for every mother on the planet. But yes, this is one of the true experiences that I've had. So, yeah, for all the mothers out there, we, as your children, love you. It's bye for now.